Hey guys, this is your trainer Anirudh Chhillar. So I'm back with another video of EIGRP. I hope you're learning in a good way and in good pace. Let's go.
So let's learn that how to modify timers in named mode. So now you can see show IP EIGRP interfaces detail on FA0 by 0 and FA0 by 1. You see hello interval is what? 5 seconds and hold interval is also what? 15 seconds. Previously in classic mode, in older iOS's it was not showing. It never shown, it never provided any information about hold interval. Did it? We never saw that what is the hold down interval configured on this interface, right? But here in this newer iOS, you can see that what is the hold down timer configured on your interface, right? As well as it is also showing you a split horizon is enabled. Previously it was now it didn't informed or it didn't shown us that okay whether split horizon is enabled on this interface or not in the output of this command.
Actually, it is visible.
उसके अंदर हम लोग नेबर पे होल्ड डाउन टाइमर चेंज करते हैं तो इधर इफेक्ट कर रहा है
वो अभी भी यहाँ पे हो अभी भी ऐसे ही होगा in same and like here if you are changing hold down interval at the end of R1 then definitely its effect will be on its neighbor only, but the thing is previously it was not showing on its own interface that what is the hold down interval configured on this interface, right? But this time in this iOS it can show you. Was it showing you split horizon?
Yes. Split horizon in previous iOS.
I don't know. You can check it out. I mean, there are some bit changes, right, in the output as well, in the output of the command. So now let's say that you wanna configure. First of all, I will teach you that how to configure, how to change passive. How to configure passive interfaces in EIGRP. To know about that, how to configure passive interface in EIGRP, it's very simple. Go to your named process first, which was CCIE on R1, right? Then you have to move under address family IPv4 autonomous system was 100. Make sure that you are using the same AS number before making changes. Otherwise, your changes will not take place if you configure any different AS number here. So address family IPv4 autonomous system is what? 100 now. And now because you wanted to configure passive interface, now there are two things. Either you want to configure any specific interface as a passive interface, or you want to configure all interfaces as passive interface. So what do you want? I will teach you, I will tell you both concepts, right? If you want to configure its all interfaces as passive interface here on this device, then do one thing, say AF interface, because you have to move inside the interface mode now. And here the most important thing in iOS 15 is that whatever you configured, whatever the command you configured under interface mode in older version, you will not require to move under interface mode now in this newer version, iOS version. Here in iOS 15 you will never require to move under interface mode. Here only you can configure all commands, whether it is summarization, authentication, passive, whatever it is. You will never require to move under interface for any single command related to EIGRP. All commands will be configured here only. Of course. Right? But here in EIGRP itself we are having that interface mode. Inside the process of EIGRP itself we are having interface mode. That's why here we are having this command AF interface, and then you can move under any interface now. But you will not require to move under physical interface in this iOS. So AF interface, if you say default, and then if you configure here passive interface, this command, because you have moved AF interface default means you have called all interfaces, and then after if you define passive interface means that all interfaces of this device will become understood or not? All interfaces of this device will become passive interface now. So this is that how can we define all interfaces as a passive interface. Then if you want that, okay, on FA0 by 0 passive interface should be disabled. So do one thing, because you enabled it globally now. So do one thing, AF interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0. Go to this interface and then say no, and then say AF interface fast Ethernet 0 by 1 as well, and again say no passive interface, and again you will see that it will form neighborship. Have you understood it or not?
Yes.
So if you have enabled passive interface globally for all interfaces, and then after if you disable your passive interface on a specific interface, then the command which is specified under exact interface will override that command which you configured for all interfaces globally. Have you understood it? That how can we define passive interface here? So you are not required to move under physical interfaces this time to define your passive interfaces and all. In same manner, this is that I just told you that how to configure passive interface, right? Even you can check it out here in the output of show IP protocols. Here also it will show you that how many interfaces are passive interface right now. Even you can also check the running configuration of EIGRP on this router. This is the running config of EIGRP. Previously it was very small configuration, it was having a small running config of EIGRP, but this time you can see. Fine. This time, first of all, now I will teach you that how to change your timers in named mode. Router EIGRP is what? Then go to address family IPv4 autonomous system 100, right? And then where do you want to change its timer? On FA0 by 0? Then do one thing. On R1's FA0 by 0, you are already inside address family mode. Now say AF interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0 because I wanted to modify timers of FA0 by 0 only. And if you want to change timers of all interfaces,
Default.
then call default in place of calling fast Ethernet 0 by 0. Are you getting my point or not?
Yes.
So say AF interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0 and then say hello interval. Here you are not required to call that EIGRP process. Do you remember that over there in classic mode it was required to say IP hello interval, EIGRP AS number and then its timer. But here nothing. Hello interval, let's say I want to configure it as 7 seconds. So hello interval space 7. To configure hold down timer, hold time, let's say 20. It's configured, but only for this interface. So you can check it out. Just come outside from this mode now and say show IP EIGRP interfaces detail. Move on FA0 by 0. See, hello interval is what? 7. Hold down is what? 20. And if you move on R2 now, if you move on R2, then see show IP EIGRP neighbor 18 seconds. Is not it? Because now I configured it as 20. You see 19. Hello.
Yes.
This is that how can we modify timers. If you want to modify your active timer, which is by default 3 minutes, show IP protocols. As you can see, active timer is what? To modify it, router EIGRP address family IP. Now to change its active timer, you have to say topology base. Here in named mode, actually this topology base is something like router mode. Do you remember router mode in EIGRP? Like you configure distribute list over there, you changed weight k values and all those things, right? So here topology base is something like router mode. So say topology base inside address family mode, and then after here inside topology mode, if you put question mark, you will find all these commands like default information was also there, right? Default command is also there, distance is there to change its AD value, distribute list is there to perform route filtering, maximum path is there to change its maximum path, offset list is there, redistribution is there, right? Traffic share, timers, variance, right? All these commands, all these commands were available in router mode in classic mode. If you talk about the classic mode, then all these commands were available inside router mode, but here these all commands are available inside topology base mode, right? So here if you want to change timers, so say timers active time, it was by default 3 minutes, you can make it 4 minutes. Now just come outside, show IP protocols, it have become now 4 minutes. And you know very well that what is the meaning by active timer, because in previous class I have already taught you that what is the role of active timer. Fine. Next is what? Authentication. Let's learn that how to configure authentication in named mode. So to learn about the authentication here in named mode, do one thing, say router EIGRP is what? Address family IPv4 autonomous system is what? Where do you want to configure your authentication? On all interfaces of this device or on a specific interface? If you want to configure authentication for all interfaces, then do one thing, say interface default. If you want to configure authentication on a specific interface only, then you have to call that specific interface here. So now you can see AF interface fast Ethernet 0/0, and then after say there is no command like IP authentication EIGRP, IP authentication mode EIGRPS number and then mode MD5. No, say authentication mode. There are only two things, MD5. If you take MD5, then after it you do not have any other command. Configure authentication mode MD5 and then create your keychain, right? And then say authentication keychain and then your keychain name. That's it for MD5. But for HMAC authentication mode, HMAC SHA, here because MD5 is older technology, whereas SHA is what? Latest one. So you can also take SHA. EIGRP named mode also supports SHA authentication. So now it is asking directly for key, your password. Let's say it is Cisco at my god. Fine, neighborship has gone down. So in this way you can configure authentication. So they have made it more easier than classic mode, is not it? Like previously it was always required to move under a physical interface mode to do configure all these commands. But here on a single place you can do whole configuration of EIGRP.
There is classic mode or named mode. The open standard and
It is named mode, not yet. Well, they have announced it that okay, it will be open standard, but still devices are not supporting it as an open standard protocol. Fine. Show IP EIGRP neighbors. Debug EIGRP packets. It will show you that okay, authentication is getting mismatched. Tell me. Missing authentication, and opcode is what? 5 for hello packet, not for update. Then you do one thing, move on R2. Here also router EIGRP, I think it was Cisco, right?
yes.
And then address family IPv4 autonomous system is what? Then AF interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Authentication mode HMAC, SHA 256 and then say Cisco at 12. Now it must form neighborship with R1. You see, move on R1 back and you see show IP EIGRP neighbor. Is not it? Show IP route. Again it have started to perform equal cost load balancing. And if you want to see running config of EIGRP now, show run pipe section. Tell me.
HMAC show इसका कुछ MAC के साथ लेना देना है?
Nothing. HMAC is hashing algorithm. bit.
So automatically in the command it will take
Exactly. Where? Yes, here, of course. If you do not specify anything. Any problem? So in this way you can configure authentication. Now there are some other features too, like how to change your hop count value, which is by default. So router EIGRP, here we were running CCIE. Then address family IPv4 autonomous system 100. Now go to topology and then say metric maximum hops is same as previously. But see here, this metric maximum hops can be changed inside topology base mode only. So here you can say now metric maximum hops is what? Let's say 2. This time you will see show IP protocols. It is now. So will it be really possible for it to receive routes coming from R6 now? That is why you cannot get now 60 prefixes, because they were coming after crossing 3 hops. And this time it will be able to receive only those prefixes which are coming here after crossing only 2 hops. Understood? Now go to router EIGRP and it was topology base, no. Once you will configure it again, it will become 100, right? It's not it. In same manner you can say maximum paths. Here inside the topology base mode only. Inside topology base mode only you can also change your maximum paths, which is by default 4, but here you can configure on this device in between 1 to 32. It will be depending on iOS. In some iOSs it will be up to 64 as well. Have you understood it? So it means this router can perform equal cost load balancing among 32 paths. Fine. Then after show IP protocols. If you want to change your variance, and you know very well that why would you why would we like to change variance value? Just to perform unequal cost load balancing. But you must be having this information that how to change your variance value in EIGRP named mode. So router EIGRP is what? Address family IPv4 autonomous system is 100, and then say topology base, and inside this topology base mode you have to configure variance. Can be configured in between 1 to same as previously. Understood that how to configure variance in named mode? Show IP protocol. So I hope that now all of you have understood it, right? All these things. And if you are enabled auto summarization now. So router EIGRP is what? CCIE. Address family IPv4 autonomous system 100, and then you can say auto. Oh my god. Topology. Inside topology base itself you can configure your auto summary command. By default it is configured as no auto summary, means by default auto summarization is disabled in named mode. But from here inside topology mode, topology base mode, you can also re-enable it. Fine. Then after it, let's talk about summarization. Right now this R1 is advertising all these 10 prefixes in the direction of R6 individually. If you move on R6, then you can find all 10 prefixes coming individually. You see, what I want that R1 should advertise only and only summary address for all these 10 prefixes. So do one thing, router EIGRP Then say address family IP v4 autonomous system 100 AF interface default. So that I will require to configure only single command to perform summarization, right? So I will say simply summary address. Sorry, summary address cannot be configured on default interface, remember. So you have to say AF interface faster than 0 by 0. And on a specific interface you will configure your summary address. Now say summary address 10.1.0.0 255.255.2.4 8.0, and then after you also have the concept of leak map. So the uses of leak map will remain same as previously. In same manner you will move under AF interface faster than 0 by 1 as well, and then say summary address this. So here the command is not like IP summary address EIGRP AS number. You know why? Because this time you are already inside the AS. That's why you are not required to specify that okay, we are doing this summarization for EIGRP for this AS. Understood or not? So in this way you can configure summarization in EIGRP. So you do one thing, you can move on R6 now and you can check that whether prefixes are coming as individually or only summary address is coming here. So you can see that we find only and only summary address here available in the routing table of R6. Any problem? So in this way you can enable summarization. And I hope that leak map you can use it by yourself, because I have already told you that what is the uses of leak map. Then after it, let's again move back on R1. So IP route, it is performing equal cost load balancing. Let's say my best path is via R2 only. Are you getting my point? Let's say my best path is via R2. So with using offset list we can modify it. So for which prefix you want to change it? Only for first 2 or first 3? Let's do it for first 3. Access list 1 permit 60.1.0.0.0.0.3. Then router EIGRP is what? CCIE address family IPv4 autonomous system 100 topology base. Offset list 1 in how much? 10,000. On which interface? FA0 by. So it will increase its metric via FA0 by FA0 by 1 means that via R3. So that its best path will become via R2 only now. So again offset list will be configured under topology base mode. And again you can see show IP route here. For first 3 it is not performing now equal cost load balancing. It is performing equal cost load balancing only for last 2 prefixes 4 and 5. Because inside that ACL I called first 3 prefixes only 1, 2, 3. Have you understood it or not?
Yes.
Tell me that how to configure this offset list and all. Fine. After going through all these things like how to configure summarization, how to manipulate its best path selection and all these things, let's do one thing once again. Router EIGRP CCIE address family IPv4 autonomous system 100 topology base, and remove this command from here now. And then after you can also perform route filtering. So I will simply tell you that how to configure route filtering here. I'm not gonna to use here like route map and all those things right here. I will simply tell you that how can you configure, or how is it possible to configure distribute list in EIGRP named mode. So you do one thing, you are on R1. Let's say that I want to filter all these 60 prefixes. So first of all I will require to create either standard ACL, extended ACL, or prefix list or route map. And then after you do one thing, router EIGRP CCIE address family IPv4 autonomous system 100, and then you can say topology base, and inside topology base you can configure your distribute list. And then under distribute list you can call either standard ACL, extended ACL, prefix list, or route map. Tell me, is there any problem now? Fine. So in this way you can configure distribute list. Fine. Then after After it, in EIGRP, you are also having one another feature. Show IP route. You can see right now I'm receiving all prefixes here. Show IP protocols. It is receiving how many prefixes here? 17. Do one thing. Router EIGRP. CC. IPv4 autonomous system is what? And inside address family itself, you can say maximum prefix. And then let's say you said 15. And now if you say maximum prefix 15 in EIGRP, it have exceeded its limit. That's why your neighborship will be down now. Do show IPIGRP neighbor. If you wanna say only like maximum prefix 15 and warning only, so this time it will not break neighborship, it will simply generate a warning message. But now you have to say clear IPIGRP neighbors. You see, it has reached the threshold, right? But neighborship is still there. Even routes will also be there. It have not filtered out your routes, but it have told you, it has already told you that okay, the maximum prefix limit has already been reached. It have already exceeded. It will simply generate this time a log message only. You see, it will simply generate a log message, but this time your neighborship will not go down. So this is the advantage of configuring warning only. So this is for all prefixes. Even if you are performing redistribution from BGP into EIGRP, now BGP table can have 10,000 routes, 20,000 routes as well, right, or more than that. But because you saw that okay, inside the BGP table you were having only 100 prefixes, so you decided to redistribute all those 100 prefixes into EIGRP. Now unknowingly or by mistake, ISP has sent you 10,000 prefixes in BGP table now. So because you performed redistribution from BGP into EIGRP, so it will redistribute all those 10,000 prefixes into EIGRP now, and now the performance of EIGRP can go down, right? So to solve that problem, you do one thing: router EIGRP CCIE address family IP and then topology base, and then say redistribute maximum prefix, and then you can set your redistribute maximum prefix like I want you to redistribute only maximum 1,000 prefixes. So this time I have restricted this router to perform redistribution from any other routing protocol into EIGRP, and maximum number of redistributed routes can be up to 100 only.
तो कोई भी random हो सकता है या फिर कोई
First 100.
अगर हम लोग चाहते हैं कोई स्पेसिफिक राउट जैसे चाहिए हमें
Nothing. And again here also you can say warning only, otherwise it will break EIGRP neighborship. Have you understood it or not? So there are two different things. One is maximum limit for redistributed route, and another maximum limit is for all types of routes, whether routes are internal or external, it does not matter. So in this way you can modify, you can perform all these tasks. Have you understood it till now?
Yeah.
That how to configure this EIGRP in named mode. Fine. Show IP protocols. Is there anything else that we can go through it?
Fast breakout.
Yes, fast route is there. Fine. You can see that for summary address it have put that entry towards is same as previously, right? And apart from it, now let's go for fast reroute here, FRR. That is very new concept in iOS 15. Fine. Show IP interface brief, that's fine. Show IP route, it is performing equal cost load balancing for all 60 prefixes, right?
So that's the end of today's video, guys. So we'll be coming back with few more videos of EIGRP. I hope you learned something new today. So if you like this video, please subscribe my channel. That's at the rate ARC underscore tutorial. Thank you so much, guys. See you later.